So today we're going to be talking all about low energy magic. And before I get into the main part of the video, this is just a reminder to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and also that I am running extra classes on my Patreon. So if you are kind of an advanced or intermediate practitioner, videos are going to be, these lessons I should say, are going to be geared towards you. So we have a weekly lecture and worksheet that gets sent out to all of my amazing Advanced Twitch patrons. So yeah, hopefully, hopefully that helps you. If you are interested in it, definitely check it out. It's the Advanced Witch subscription on my Patreon. So anyways, now that that is out of the way, let's talk about a little bit of low energy magic, shall we? So if you are new to my channel, last year I did a whole series of 366 videos pertaining to witchcraft. So I've already talked about this a little bit. If you want to check out that video as well, I'm going to link it down below, but I wanted to revisit this topic. If you want to pause this video, go check that one out and come back, go ahead and do so. I will still be here, I promise. But I really want to start the video off today by just acknowledging and holding space for witches who are chronically ill, whether that be mental illness or physical illness. No one should ever feel shamed for having to modify their practice in any way or find things that work for them. That is the basis of my witchcraft, I feel like, and it's the reason that I turned to the spirituality in the first place, is that it was so personal and so malleable. I think it can be really discouraging for people, especially when they first begin to see practitioners not having modifications for some of their spell work, because it makes you feel like you have to do all of this very elaborate ritual stuff. And I have fallen prey to this too. Something that I want to do in 2022 is be more sensitive to that and give kind of alternatives to larger spell workings for those who maybe can't, or people who are unable to practice openly. So that's something I'm working on. So yeah, I want to make it very clear that it is okay to modify spells to fit your needs. In fact, that is kind of something that I encourage practitioners to do, because just because a spell works for me and it aligns perfectly with what my intention is and what I the outcome that I want from a spell, perhaps our intentions are different, or perhaps we're doing a similar spell for different situations. So I do want to say it is okay to modify spells in general, and I think that all spell, when you look at a spell book, I think those are best used as guidelines. It's totally cool to do spells out of a book, not a problem, but I tend to kind of modify things to fit my practice a little bit better. So next I want to just kind of issue a reminder that people's practices can wax and wane. There might be a period of time where you don't want to practice or you can't practice. And I think that it is of the utmost importance to put your mental health and your physical health first. So if someone is telling you something different, perhaps investigate why they're saying that to you, or just kind of take what they say with a grain of salt, because anyone pressuring you to practice a spirituality, it's red flags for me. So just be careful. Please do not join a cult, please. So just know that your mental health and your physical health should be a priority, and that's okay. So if that means you need to step back for a little bit, or maybe you have to not do a ritual or go to a holiday or celebrate a full moon, if your version of working is resting, that is valid and that's okay. So I just want to make sure people know that, and also watch out for people who are trying to be you must do this, because I feel like that's just insidious and weird. So just be careful. The next recommendation I have is to focus on passive magics. So what does this mean? It's magic that kind of occurs without you having to actively do something. So one of the best examples I have for this is carrying crystals. And this is something that's super duper popular. Take some crystals, sit with them for a little bit, meditate on their energy before you leave the house, and carry them with you. It's a good touch point for if you are an anxious person. I often find that if I have a sensory thing, just a crystal to hang on to, it does help kind of ground me. It can be good for people who are kind of in the broom closet, aren't able to practice openly. Luckily, crystals are kind of moving into the zeitgeist in that people are talking about it, and it's very accessible. You can buy amethyst at TJ Maxx, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's a good way to kind of start practicing. I don't use a whole lot of crystals in my personal practice, but I think it's a great avenue for it. So yes. Another thing that you can use that kind of goes hand in hand with crystals, but is similar, is using talismans and jewelry. So you can make protective jewelry. I have a video about that. Or a protective talisman, or something that you keep on your person. Or it doesn't have to even be protective. That's just my personal thing. It can be to bring happiness or to bring luck or joy or whatever. So that is something that you can do that you don't necessarily have to think about, but when you wear it, it can lend that to you, if that makes sense. When you are doing a working or you have a specific intention, but you feel maybe you are unable to do a full spell or a full ritual, lighting a specific candle while you do something else can be helpful. So if you are, I don't know, taking a bath, like let's say, and you would like to bring tranquility, lighting a blue candle or a specific candle while you take your ritual bath, or just a bath, whatever, can be really helpful to bring that energy into something that is kind of mundane, just bathing, right? And then finally, I think this has always been my biggest suggestion, but using color magic in your clothing is one of my favorite ways to practice passive magic. So for example, do I wear a lot of black because I'm a goth and it looks cool as hell? Yes, but it also is a very protective color. So I feel a lot more confident going out into public knowing that I am kind of protected, right? I also encourage you to use this mindset towards like your bedding. Maybe getting blue or purple sheets to encourage rest and tranquility for your bedding. For any accessories, using crystals in your accessories maybe, as well as dishware for like nurturing and abundance and health. Color magic is very easily applicable to a lot of areas of life, and I wish more practitioners talked about it because I think it's really awesome. So I encourage you to like look into color magic and using it. I also have a video about that, so yeah. So my next suggestion is actually pretty simple, and that is to download a couple witchy apps onto your phone. Now, if you're somebody who like constantly forgets the moon cycle or is like trying to get more into your horoscope but like always forgets about it until the last minute, a lot of apps are like free. You can get stuff that, you know, reminds you when the moon is, or talks about astrology, or maybe is a plant identifier, or you know, I've seen stuff for pulling tarot cards. So if you don't have enough energy to go get your cards and like do a spread, you can do them on the app. So I really encourage you guys to look into it. A lot of these are free, so that's kind of good. And it's something that makes witchcraft just like that much more accessible, which I really appreciate. I have definitely used the Labyrinthos Tarot app on days where I just like cannot get myself together and I just am like, all right, I'm just gonna lay in bed and do this, or what have you. For people who are sensitive to smoke, because I know that is a thing, my mom has like crazy asthma, so I can't burn incense in my house like anytime she's coming over, so I just choose not to. But a way to get around that, and also for people who are in dorms, I too was a college witch, I understand. Using wax melters and oil diffusers can help, and it's a really fun way to learn about using essential oils, making your own wax melts, and you learn kind of a cool craft out of it. If that is something you want to do, you don't have to if you don't want to. But I really just, I can't recommend that enough. I know people are like all into smoke cleansing. It looks super witchy. I personally love smoke cleansing. It is my favorite thing to do, but I understand that it is not accessible to everybody. I do have a video about smoke-free cleansing options, of course. You'll probably hear me say that a lot, I'm sorry. But it's just something that I think is more accessible. It's less like fire hazard-y, I think, especially for the oil diffusers. And again, it's an example of kind of that passive magic. So by introducing aromatherapy or like a scent into a room, you can definitely change the feeling. Yes. Aside from that, another way you can cleanse yourself is to take a cleansing bath or shower. And I understand that like sometimes this is really, really difficult and I don't want to shame anybody. Taking a shower or taking a bath is a great way to physically cleanse and also energetically cleanse if you so choose. Cleansing baths and showers I find are a great way to like physically clean my body, like scrub the depression grime off of me, but also like reset my brain and get myself kind of back on track. So I recommend it. It is something that I understand is not accessible to everybody all the time. I understand completely. I totally do. But it is something that I find that like when I am consistent in doing an energetic cleansing as well as a physical like shower or bath or whatever, it does actually help with like balancing my energy and stuff. So I really recommend it if you can. Now, the next thing on my list is to start a meditation or visualization practice. Now, I know this is not accessible to everybody, so again, if this does not apply to you or you're like, tried it, hated it, perfectly fine, ignore me. But I find that quieting my mind and visualizing on things kind of helps me ground and put things into perspective for myself, especially with someone who has anxiety and like PTSD. I have found it really, really helpful. So if you are unable to do like maybe a ritual working that you wanted to, or a spell that you wanted to, but you do have enough energy to kind of just like ground center focus, I think that's better than doing nothing at all. If you are kind of like interested in I don't know, like if you want to do a working but you can't do a full, does that make sense? I just find that it's a nice way to kind of like tap into that witchiness. So it's okay if you can't. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Because I understand that like meditation and visualization is not for everybody, but I have found great success with this. So just a little tipperoonie, I don't know. Anyways, throughout the year, I am going to be talking about low energy magic for all of the holidays, as well as some like things you can do for the full moon or the new moon. Throughout the year, I'm going to be speaking more about low energy magic, especially in tandem with all of the holidays on the wheel of the year, as well as the various seasons we encounter. So like winter, spring, summer, fall, all of the seasons, as you guys can tell. And I really, this year, I think we're going to be focusing a lot on like kind of that earth-based spirituality, or those earth-based parts of witchcraft. So I hope you guys are into that. But yeah, definitely low energy stuff for the wheel of the year, as well as the new moons and full moons. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I would love to hear them. I'm always happy to answer them. And I would love to hear about some like low energy magics that you guys use. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.